So our oven is heated up at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And the first thing I'm going to do is take two bell peppers and I'm going to dice them, which means to cut them up. Before I can cut up my two bell peppers, orange and red, I'm going to wash them first. So I run a little water over the bell peppers. Okay. Get those all done, dry them out, and I'm going to put them on the cutting board, and we can see what's happening down here. So here's my cutting board, a white cutting board with a red bell pepper and a green bell pepper. And step one, I'm going to take a knife, and I'm going to use the knife and cut off the ends here. So that's gone, and that's gone as well. And I'm going to set the bell pepper ends over here. Maybe I will put them into a compost pile later. I'm going to cut out the seeds in the middle. Be careful not to cut off my fingers in the process. Hello, it's great to see so many students joining us this afternoon on office hours. Welcome for another Learning Live edition. We're going to be cutting these bell peppers so we can cook them into a frittata. This frittata is going to make 6 servings. That's enough for 6 meals. I live in a house with one other person, so between the two of us, we will each get 3 meals. It's enough for dinner, lunch, and then maybe another dinner. So I'm going to dice up the bell peppers, just like this. I'm going to slice off the ends here. Trying to work quickly because that oven is heating up. And as soon as it beeps off at 425 degrees, I'm going to want to make sure I put in this frittata. It's going to have a lot of vegetables. It's going to have some eggs, some seasoning, and a couple other secret ingredients. Okay. So I just sliced the peppers, and now I'm going to dice them this way. Cut them up into little, almost like cubes. Cubes, like 3-dimensional squares, right? Color the reds and the oranges. Very similar to some of the paintings that we were seeing on Field Trip Friday. Hello. If you have any questions at any point about what we're cooking here on office hours, if you have any questions about any of your classwork, if you have any questions about anything going on that I can help you with, let me know, and I will be sure to answer those questions. It's great to see people saying hello on the chat. So we got our bell peppers are all diced up. Next, I'm going to dice up these cherry tomatoes. Take the package off of here, and I need about 1.5 cups, also known 1.5. Well, let's see, if 1 cup is 8 ounces, can someone tell me how much 1.5 cups are? How many ounces in 1.5 cups? 1 ounce, 1 cup is 8 ounces. Half of 8 ounces is 4. That means 1.5 cups is going to be 12 ounces. There is 1 pint, also known as 16 ounces, in this container. So I'm not going to use all the tomatoes. I think I will only use about 3/4, because 12 divided by 16 is the same as 3 divided by 4. That is 0.75. So I'm going to take a handful of these cherry tomatoes in here, or grape tomatoes, or these little mini tomatoes. I'm going to put them on the cutting board. People are asking, do the peppers taste different? There is a slight difference, I think, between the red pepper and the orange pepper. I suppose I could try it right now to see. Shouldn't really be eating while I'm cooking, but there's the orange. Now I'm going to try the red one. You know what? They are quite different. I would say that the orange pepper is a little sweeter. The red pepper doesn't quite have as strong a flavor to it. So if you look over here at these tomatoes, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 3/4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a little more than 4/4. So how about this? I'm going to take all of these, put these back in the container, and now I have my 3/4, which I think is my 1.5 cups, also known as 12 ounces of cherry tomatoes. And I am going to use this knife to cut those in half so they're just a little smaller. So I go like that, and like this. I'm going to cut them lengthwise, right, from the top to the bottom. And any other questions that people have, feel free to ask them in the chat. You can let me know. It could be questions about tomatoes, questions about peppers, questions about school, questions about the coronavirus, questions about English, questions about other languages, questions about history, questions about math. I am here to answer your questions. I am here to cook dinner and lunch and dinner. I am here to learn. This is a great opportunity for all of us to, try to keep the learning happening, keep learning, thinking about ways that we can build a better world. Even though we can't come into school, we can always keep our minds going. We can always take care of one another. We can try to learn more about how things work, how the world works. Try to cut these tomatoes in half. Almost done. Almost finished cutting up my 12 ounces, also known as 1.5 cups of tomatoes. Those are they. Perfect. Now, for our next trick, I've got a lot of seasons a lot of spices that are gonna go into the frittata. A lot of different kinds of spices. I know that I need some cumin. I'm gonna have some chili powder, some coriander, and because I like things to be a little hotter, I'm going to sneak in a little cayenne powder and also some crushed red pepper. But the recipe is telling me, it wants me to put in, let's see, how much? About 3/4 of a teaspoon of each of those spices. The oven's ready to go, so I have to hurry. So it wants about 3/4 of a teaspoon. Now, I want it to be a little more flavorful than that. I like strong seasoning in the food that I eat. I like it to be a little hotter. So what I'm going to do is, instead of taking 1/4 of a teaspoon, this is this little guy, 1/4 of a teaspoon, I'm going to go with, so here's 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm going to take 1 full teaspoon. Instead of doing 1, 2, 3 to make 3/4, I'm going to do just a little less than 1 full teaspoon. And that's going to be a little bit more than 3/4, but just enough. I'm going to put all the seasoning into this little cup, and in that way I'll have the seasoning ready to go. So let's see, I'll start with the cumin. Cumin is one of my favorite spices. It smells really good. And see, now if I do that, that's more than a teaspoon, right? It's too much. But this is about 3/4, so I drop that into there. Perfect. All done with cumin. Next comes the chili powder. Chili powder is a mix of a whole bunch of different spices. And once again, I'm going to do a little less than a full teaspoon. That looks pretty good, right? Put that in there. Then I'm going to get the coriander, and I'm going to do just a little bit less than a full teaspoon. Just a little bit less. There it is. Actually, there we go. That goes in there. And finally, just a little bit of cayenne powder. It's nice and hot. You know what? I'm not going to measure this out. I'm just going to go like that. Perfect. All right. Now, while we got that going, I'm going to go over here. I have a skillet. This is a pan. It's made out of iron. It's really heavy. It's really hard. It's got some oil in it already. I'm going to go to the stove top. I'm going to turn on the stove. And I'm going to turn it down to medium heat. And let it heat up there. And I'm going to feel that it's getting a little bit warm. I want the skillet to heat up before I put more oil into the skillet. So I want the surface of the skillet. The iron is a conductor for the heat. So the heat comes up through the burner. It heats up the metal and then spreads all through the pan. If I have a nice hot surface, it's going to make it really easy for me to cook these peppers.